Wanna say hello? Alright, this is a very rare occurrence that you get to see the rabbits in this close up, so savor it while you can because they don't really appreciate being held that much. But Pippin's being a really good boy right now. Oh, sorry. Sniffing. Go, say bye-bye. Bye. Now I'm gonna have rabbit fur up on my nose and stuff. That's great, but... Hello guys, welcome to the vlog. This week is the first week into summer classes, so there is a lot of work ahead for the following weeks. What we really want to focus on, me and my sister this summer, is reading a lot and doing a lot of writing, hopefully getting back some creative spark and energy. So that's partially what this video is going to be about, so get prepared for talking a lot about books and writing and storyboarding and just all kinds of things. Really excited to have you along for this one. Let's go ahead and get into the video. A little bit of a time jump and also environment change. This morning I really need to update the reading journal, so we might take a look at that and see what pages need to be added. Maybe try to figure out a few designs to do. I was not able to bring that much stuff supply wise, but we'll see how we can work with what we've got. Also brought the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes book to hopefully begin on this trip, and then there are probably about, I think I would say 3 stories that I need to work on this trip as well, just maybe doing some outlining and character development type things, potentially write a little bit of the actual content and material as well. Peyton will also be working on her stories, so it will be nice to kind of have a little bit of partnership going on, mutual encouragement. Like I said, I didn't bring too many supplies reading journal wise, but we'll see if we can figure something out. And then this is the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes book I was talking about that will probably start on this trip. Should be fun. Also, this is like the coolest bookmark type thing. It's a little sword and you can order them off Amazon. Super duper cute and a lot more interesting than just a plain regular bookmark. So I cannot remember the last time this was updated when I've started putting the books of the month on here, but ran out of ink instead, so I'm just making a note of which books to put when we get more ink. And then of course the priority TBR, reading goals. This was the spread for January and the different books. It was the Silmarillion, Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, and The Fuel and the Flame, and then some of the spreads here. Just some notes on it. Map, picture, sketches. This book I really enjoyed, so I would definitely recommend. It was about C.S. Lewis and Tolkien's friendship. It was just kind of incredible to see how they encouraged each other, how they worked together, even how Tolkien was influential in C.S. Lewis's conversion to Christianity. And then this was a really good book, a lot about how to practically live out your life for Christ, specifically on college campuses, but it could be applied to anywhere you are, whatever stage of life. And then a quote by George Mueller, who I absolutely love. And then I think I skipped February because, school got busy and all that, and I did not end up reading all of that book. but a couple of them are really good. The David Heart for God was a super good read, mainly talking about the contrast between David and Saul and how they responded to God and kind of their relationship and difference between David being repentant and Saul trying to seek his own agenda and how that kind of turned out. And then Fantastes was an amazing read. I actually read it here. It was kind of a classic fantasy type book written by George MacDonald, who actually inspired C.S. Lewis, which it was really neat to kind of see the types of things that inspired another great author. And then Remarkably Bright Creatures was a audiobook that I listened to on Hoopla. I had not known about Hoopla before and kind of really enjoyed the fact that it was an audiobook, but the story itself was interesting because I wanted to see how it ended, but it was not the greatest. And then this is where we are currently at, about to finish out May, so I've got a lot of updating to do on this page first of all, but then I also have not done any of the individual book spreads, so I need to catch up on this. It ended up getting really stormy at the beach, so we had to spend pretty much the rest of the trip indoors, which was good and bad because, you know, when you're at the beach, all you want to do is be outside. But did get a little bit of classwork done, so kind of balanced out. Now that we're back home though, I really need to get some storyboarding going for continuing the writing process for a couple of my stories that I'm working on. We'll be getting into that in just a few. And then I also really wanted to continue reading that book and work on a bit of character development and probably detailing a little bit more outlining. So there's a lot going on that needs to be worked on for these stories. So that's what the focus will probably be on this week. There's also a lot of just in general organization that I have to do because a lot of the times I will write bits and pieces of a story that I'm working on and then just kind of put it in a pile or a book or a notebook somewhere. So a lot of them are kind of dispersed and I really need to go through them and put everything together and figure out some kind of system of organization so it's not so strewn all over the place. We'll work on those things and hopefully get a lot of progress on some stories down and also work on the reading journal. I'll go show you some of that real quick. My plan is to use this big foam board for the storyboard for one of my shorter stories. It is a children's story, so this should help a lot kind of get a visual on the specific plot points that are happening. You know, you'd think a children's story would be easy to write, and maybe it is for some people, but for me, it's like I know where I want the story to end up. I know how it begins. I'm just struggling a little bit with the middle, which is not a great sign, but I'm hoping some more character development will help with that, and also the storyboard to kind of get a visual on where things are going and what needs to happen to get there. So yeah, I'll work on this. My plan is to just do like note cards on it and simple pictures, kind of like Pixar does. Nothing perfect, just stuff to get the idea down. Writing can be very hard sometimes when your brain does not want to work. I'm going to try to get some writing done before the sun goes down. I'm just going to have to think a little bit about which story I want to work on. Probably the children's book, just because I really need to get some more progress on the storyboard. And also I feel like starting with something a little bit more simple will kind of help get some creativity going. Something else that I found to be really helpful in writing stories is, I'm sure you know this, but doing research, whether it's on the place or any kind of animal that you have in your story, or even the type of person they are, relationships, political things, any kind of topic you need to dive deeper into in order to be knowledgeable about what you're writing on really helps. So with this story, I have a main animal I am focused on. So, you know, the main character is that animal, all of his friends are that animal. You know, they live in the specific environment that these animals live in real life. And so I'm having to do some research on that beforehand. So it goes just a little bit beyond general knowledge. And in doing that, I'm kind of getting more of a grasp on some of the characteristics that this animal will have as a character in the story. It will help with some of the main plot points. And the way I'm doing this is just, you know, basic research on the animal, their diet, habitat, predators, behaviors. So watching videos, looking up scientific research articles, writing my own research, looking at pictures, things like that will all kind of help your creativity flow and give a little more credit to the story you're creating. So that's what I'm working on right now. So yeah, just a little writer tip for any kind of story that you're working on. Research is really, really important and can help in so many ways. Alright, I'm going to borrow my sister's room for a second, just because she basically has an entire library in here, and she was giving me a tour earlier, but she let me read some of her Hunger Games books over the past few weeks. I'm kind of late into getting into them, but they were definitely ones that are page turners, and you kind of, once you start reading it, you're just going to be having to finish the book pretty soon after you start. So I really enjoyed those. The Hunger Games, of course, comes first, and then the Catching Fire, Mockingjay, and then Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is the final one, but it kind of talks about things that happened before you pick up in the Hunger Games with Katniss and Peeta. So I have not read the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes yet. That one is the one I'm about to read. The others are really, really good, and I enjoyed them. I will say I enjoyed the Hunger Games, which is the first one, the most. So kind of after that, I didn't necessarily enjoy them quite as much, but they still were page turners, just very violent and pretty tragic. These are her copies of them right here. Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay, and they each have like the bird on the cover. I'm interested to see what the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is going to be like, since that is President Snow's kind of backstory type thing. But yeah, those are the current reads. So now I need to update the reading journal a little bit and start kind of figuring out, after the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, what I will be reading. I think my sister and I might potentially find something to read together, kind of like as a book club or something, so that way we can talk about it more. Any recommendations are welcome, or if you would like to read along, feel free. This is my sister's collection of books that she has pretty much read most all of these, if not all of them, and she was giving me a tour earlier. So I'm excited to take some of her recommendations up. Like I said, I'm just now doing the Hunger Games series, and then we'll move on to something else, whatever she recommends, probably. As always, thank you so very much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you wish. Have a great week, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.